I see I should speak louder for the deaf folks in back, the chief of which is my oldest son. I only got to know Brenda personally a few years ago, along with Grant and Brianna. I found Brenda to be thoughtful, warm, and a delight to be around. She graduated from Big Sandy, Texas, campus of Ambassador College in 1974, the same year that I graduated from Ambassador College in Pasadena, California. And I found her to be faithful in life and practice to the things that she had been taught and learned at Big Sandy. And so I counted her a very good friend and colleague in regard to the truth and practices of God. Sue-Ann and I probably met her and probably many of you back in 1975 upon our return from California. And I have to say it's a shame that we didn't stay in contact through those years because life takes us on different paths and we go where certain requirements cause us to travel. But certainly Brenda's influence on her family and on others can be readily seen because of what we see here today. You are here, and there are others online that share your love and your care for Brenda. So it's a privilege to be here with you today in memory of Brenda Norman. And at this time, we offer our sincere sympathy and prayers to the family and to everyone that is missing her. But you know, for those of you that have been very close to Brenda, it's going to be strange for a while not to see her. But this isn't the end of the story for Brenda Norman, or for that matter, any of us. I'm going to tell you what Brenda came to understand, came to believe and accept, and to promote in regard to her life. And I'm going to reiterate to some degree what Grant, Pam, Kevin, Brianna, and Blake have said already. It's natural that at a time like this, there is a grieving process. And we will have to go through and it will have to run its course. There's no getting around that. Whether a friend or loved one, whether in the youth of life or in the prime of life, passes from our midst, it's natural that we should ask certain questions. Why? How come now? What could there have been? What next? As Blake mentioned, death is a certainty for all. The simplest answer that there's a time for everything is true, but it is not sufficient for those that are stung by the absence and tragedy of a loved one. To effectively cope with the trials of life and death, we need to understand more than simply there is a time and season for these things to occur. There is something beyond death. What is the purpose of life that you and I share now, and that Brianna had and had run her race? We don't need to be ignorant or uninformed, because there are answers to the questions which perplex most of humanity. Science is not able to discover the meaning of life. Education does not teach the purpose of why you and I are here. Industry and business cannot produce, and marketing and advertising cannot and does not sell the real reason for your existence and mine. Philosophy cannot imagine, nor does religion reveal the grand destiny for every single human being. The empirical tools available for man in his search for meaning are totally insufficient. Man cannot discover God's plan or purpose. God must reveal himself and that plan. The materialistic, atheistic, evolutionary philosophies do not give the purpose of life or death, and we reject those philosophies. Man was created. He did not evolve. The creation of man was for a far greater purpose than humanity can